These were really fun to keep. With their acrobatics and destructive behaviour, Crossbills were really entertaining in my aviaries. I had my first Crossbills back in the autumn of 2019, which I picked up from the Stafford National Exhibition. In the winter, I picked up a second pair of Crossbills, meaning for the spring of 2020, I had 2 pairs of commons. Now, Crossbills are quite different than a lot of other finches. They're opportunistic breeders, so their main stimulus for breeding is the availability of high quality food rather than the light hours or the temperature. This means in captivity, they will breed pretty much any time of the year outside of the moult. And it was in the February that one of my pairs decided to breed. They built this rather scruffy nest over the course of a week and laid 2 eggs in there. These eggs were medium-sized bird eggs as they go, which were white with these red blotches on the wide end. The hen incubated them very well over the course of 14 days and then 2 beautiful chicks hatched. They aren't picky eaters, so the parents fed whatever I gave them to the chicks. They had a hard seed mix that was a greenfinch mix. I gave them an Amazon or African grey large parrot mix, and whatever was in that was also fed to the chicks. They had vegetables, particularly peas. They absolutely loved them for the first couple of days. They had germinated seed and they had egg food in there, and even they did take a little bit of mealworms as well. So pretty much anything you put in the aviary, the Crossbills would eat. The chicks grew very fast, and at about 14 days old, when the pair of chicks were quite large in all honesty, didn't really fit in the nest, they decided to fledge and spent the first couple of days learning how to use their wings in amongst the vegetation of an old Christmas tree. And one of the things about Crossbills as well, that they were really quite friendly, so the chicks and the parents would quite happily take peas out of my hand. I'd just get a handful, put them in front of them, and they'd pull them out, and it was really quite good to watch and enjoy. Now, Crossbills are a very destructive species. They chew pretty much anything. They really are the chainsaws of the bird world. And it's often this chewing that is linked to their body condition. So if you find that the birds are chewing more perches, it often means they're in better health and actually are more likely to breed when they're chewing more. So that's a really good indicator of just how well your Crossbills are doing. A word of advice: if you are thinking of keeping and breeding Crossbills, plan the housing well in advance. I find that ideally you make it out of as little wood as possible, because it's then as little destruction to the main frame of the aviary as you can. I had L brackets on all of the wooden support beams so they couldn't chew them, and of course wire mesh around them as well so they couldn't actually access the wood. Then what I did instead is, rather than them having to chew the cage, give them loads and loads of fresh pine branches. Equally, I've kept them in fully aluminium flight cages and UPVC plastic cages, and they didn't really bother chewing either of those. Crossbills are an absolutely wonderful species to keep and breed, and I have no doubt in the future that I will have the species again.